All right, I'm about to cut my own hair. I've been doing this for a long time now. At some point it just wasn't convenient to go to the barber, and I'm actually not very good at cutting my own hair, but it always comes out good, or at least good enough. So I'll show you how I do that. I don't have any formal training, and to be honest, I don't really try that hard to make it perfect. I just want to make it passable for going into work on any given day. Oftentimes I wear a motorcycle helmet, so I have a relatively short haircut that I spike up with a little bit of yellow goo that I buy from Walmart. It's called Gorilla Stock. And so that's all I do, is I just make sure my hair is really short so it doesn't get like super ugly after I put it in a motorcycle helmet. All right, so here's what I do. I have a wall razor, and I put on, well, first off, I have to figure out what I'm gonna do around the sides. And so with this wall razor that I bought, I have blade size, or these guard sizes that range from 1 all the way up to about 8 or 9. And on the sides, I typically do about a 2 or a 3. So I'm going to, first off, I make sure that this is pushed so that's all the way to the front, and pop on a 2, and then I'm just going to start trimming. And I usually just look in the mirror while I'm doing that. So, well, I'm not seeing any easy way for you to see what I'm seeing, but just kind of go up, kind of up to the top of my head. Now everybody's head's shaped differently, so who knows how it'll come out for you. So look at it so far, you can see it kind of looks normal, like a regular haircut, right? You just go straight up and it comes off. So kind of like mowing the lawn, right? Maybe that's my thing. I'm a man, I mow lawns. Figure hair can't be that much different, right? Just trim it off until it looks normal. So some of the other things I gotta do then is figure out, anyway, it's weird doing it when you can't see the back of your head. I try not to go up too high on the back of my head, but basically I'm just gonna go around doing the same process with the 2. The only thing that this doesn't get at this point, speaking of the kind of the border of my head down, the only thing this doesn't get is the back of my neck. That's the trickiest part that I can't get by myself. So in terms of where I'm doing this in the restroom, and I'm letting the hair just fall into the sink. It ends up being, I don't wash it down the sink, but it ends up being pretty easy to pick it out afterwards. So. All right, so from time to time, I check in the mirror and make sure I got all the spots. And sometimes I'm seeing in the mirror in front of me, I'm like, I didn't quite get it everywhere. And at this point, it's probably a good time to go grab a secondary mirror, which I'm gonna go get right now. All right, here we go. Here's a hand mirror. I'm gonna hold this up, and I'm just kind of look, check out the back of my head and stuff. Oftentimes there's a little spot that I didn't get terribly well. It's slightly uneven on the back, so I'll just kind of keep on doing this until it feels like I got everything.
I actually see a little line there in the middle of my head that I'm not used to seeing, so I don't know what that's about today. But for the most part, you can see I've got all the sides covered, and so the only thing left to really think about is the top of my head. And for the top of my head, I'll do about I gotta decide here. Maybe I'll do a 5. Hopefully that's not too short. See how that goes. It seemed a little short. Yeah, I don't know, that made me a little nervous. Maybe I cut off too much of this end. Let's see if I got a 6 in here. I'll do a 6. Let's start off with a 6. All right. And just really just go across the whole thing. So you think, oh, he's buzzing his head. No, I'm not really buzzing my head because I do a different length on the top than I do on the rest of it. I honestly wouldn't mind paying a barber to do this because I don't like having to clean up the hair and stuff like that, but it's just too much time out of my life to schedule it and go to a certain place at a certain time of day. Like right now it's 7:30 on a Monday night, and you know, I'll bang this out in like 10 minutes usually, and it's like, yeah, okay, good enough. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. I don't want to make an appointment. Travel somewhere. Okay, so at this point, you can see I've kind of got everything. So it looks surprisingly similar to what it did a few minutes ago. As long as there's nothing too crazy hanging out, then I'll just consider myself done. Although something I usually do is blend it just a little bit. So it's 2 on the sides and about 6 on the top right now. So I usually grab something like about a 3 to a 5, all right? And I just kind of imagine in my head that there's a little transition here, and I don't want the transition to be too severe. So I'll just kind of like pop up a little bit, or from this side, just kind of pop it up a little bit as we're rolling onto the top. All right, it's probably close to okay. Here, I'll do a little bit of moving around. If I see something sticking up in the future while I'm combing my hair, maybe I'll go zip, and then just catch that again real quick, but otherwise we're good. Okay, so the last thing that I usually do is I worry about the neck and sideburns and stuff like that. The neck is the worst part. Now, I should get my wife, and my wife's right here in the house, and she's always willing to help, but even that seems inconvenient. So what I try to do is I try to go straight across. Imagine that there's a vertical line, and I try to go straight across and get the neck fuzzies off of there. And sometimes, this is the only place where it ever goes wrong in my haircut. Sometimes I'll instead of going straight across, I'll go a little crooked, and I'll have this like jagged part there. Oh, I hate that. All right, let's go ahead and I'm just imagining about where that line is on the back of my neck. And then same thing over here. At least I can see it a little bit as I'm looking in the mirror. All right, so I've done it from both sides with an imaginary line. I can go down far if I want. And let's see how it's looking. So I'm looking in the mirror and I have a straight line and it came out pretty well. So I'm happy with that. I don't like it to be completely squared off in the back of the neck. Let me see if I can kind of show you what I'm talking about here. I don't like it being completely squared off right here. I prefer it to be rounded, but I just go as close as I can. And I've never had this little line here before, so I have no idea what happened there. Fortunately, when you're at the length of a tube, within a couple of days, if not a week, it just goes away. So everything will grow up just fine. I'm not sure what happened there. Okay, let's go ahead and finish things out. So what do I see being left? Well, one thing is I gotta kind of trim off any extra hair right there, just kind of get off any extras so it's not poking out too far in the front. Kind of a straight line. Okay, and then these things come with little guards, and so this one says left ear. So let's do left ear. Notice it's crooked. I make sure that the blade is pushed as far as it can go to the front with this. All right, here we go. And then I just go around the ear with the left ear thing, because I got some hair right now I see hanging over my ear. I don't like that. So I just kind of go around the edge. Gotta be careful and not go too aggressive, because the shorter side can sometimes go real short against your head. So anyway, I've gone over the corner of the ear here, corner of the ear there, and it's it's pretty good, so cool with that. All right, now I gotta do the other side. Right ear, that was left ear, right ear, same deal. And almost done here with my recording of my hairdo. All right, so basically everything is done at this point. I just need to, well, you can see some hair on the back of my neck, so I kind of need to jump in the shower and rinse that off so that is not on my pillow as I go to bed tonight. I do have one other trick that I do here, and that is, let me find it, hold on, don't go anywhere. Okay, this is an eyebrow trimmer. I was in my 30s or something like that once when a barber said, "Do you want me to trim your eyebrows?" And I was terribly offended. I'm like, "What? Trim my eyebrows?" And anyway, I guess over time our eyebrows get bushier and bushier, and so you can buy these little guys that you just take them across your eyebrows. And then you look at yourself and you're like, whoa, I'm in my mid to late 40s. And suddenly, when I do that, I look young. Ooh. Eating well and working out helps with that as well. But anyway, you just rub that across, get out all the big long hairs that make you look like Sasquatch or something. And then you come out looking and feeling pretty young when all is said and done. So I'm going to wash up here shortly, but basically, it's all done. Thanks for joining me. All right, quick little follow-up. I just rinsed off my hair, and as you can see as I'm looking in the mirror, there's this massive little tail on the back of my head. So I'm gonna jump in and fix that. All right, it's the next day, freshly showered, got my yellow hair goo ready to go that I bought at Walmart. So I'll put a little of that stuff on my fingers and start running it through my hair. A little towards the front, a little all over. Kind of pull forward a little bit, pull up in the middle a little bit. Looks like this time I got things a little short on the front, but in terms of working with the motorcycle, this is fine. As it grows out a little bit, I kind of end up doing a little faux hawk in the middle, pushing it up a little point in the middle, but works great. All right, done with the haircut.